It is Indiana in the morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. We're glad that you're with us here today on this lovely Thursday morning. Well, lovely might not be. I don't know, Nancy. Do you think lovely would be the appropriate word to apply here?
I love rain because rain does wonderful things for my garden. And I'm very excited about the fact that tonight at 7:30 on the campus of Indiana University of Pennsylvania in Waller Hall, the Department of Music, Theater, and Dance is opening a production of Little Women.
Listen to her. Man, she didn't give me a chance to introduce the topic. She did it all by herself. Nice. And a great segue, turning it from the weather to Little Women happening tonight. Let's talk a little bit about that here this morning, though. It is going to be a tremendous performance, and Nancy Pipkin Hutchinson is a faculty member from the Music, Theater, and Dance Department at IUP and serving as the production manager for this show. Our visit this morning is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Law Firm and Best Personal Injury Lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. There probably are plenty of folks out here that don't know that Little Women has been done as a musical, a Broadway musical before.
It has been. Little Women is a book that is well over 100 years old, older than indeed Indiana University of Pennsylvania itself.
Mm-hmm.
It was turned into stage plays at different points in time. It has been done repeatedly as movies, but in the early 2000s, it was turned into a musical, a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And it has now gone on to live its own life in communities across the country. And last academic year, we as faculty chose Little Women to be our spring musical this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the performances are this weekend, correct?
The performances are this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m.
So this is opening night tonight.
Tonight is opening night.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right, so let's talk about what it takes to put on Little Women as a musical. It takes the involvement of many, many people.
It takes the involvement of many, many people. Audience members will see 11 actors, well, truly 20 actors, in different varieties on stage. But we have 2 to 3 times that number backstage with students, faculty, and staff. Mm-hmm. Unless you have actually been active in producing theater, you don't realize how many carpenters it takes to build the set, how many painters it takes to then paint that, the people who create the props, the creation of costumes. In the morning, human beings go and pull out an outfit from their closet to put on. Mm-hmm. But the costume designer is responsible from, 2 costumes for a 2-person show, mm-hmm. or 30 costumes for a 5-person show that takes place in a 2-hour period over 10 years.
Yeah.
And then lighting and sound and special effects, and then the directors and the choreographers, and in this case, the musical director and our orchestra conductor. So we have been working since the last week of January in mm-hmm. rehearsals.
So this is Theater by the Grove.
Theater by the Grove and Music Theater.
And music theater.
We are a newly combined department of Music Theater and Dance,
mm-hmm.
As the reorganization has happened at IUP. But Theater by the Grove has long produced the theater, and once a year we combine with Music Theater to produce either an opera or a musical.
Mm-hmm. Little Women, the musical, the Broadway musical, that's the particular production you're doing, correct?
That is.
Yeah. When you decided to put it together and to tackle this project, which is a big project.
It is.
When you decided, was it based upon having seen it or having the idea of it? What went into that decision-making process? Because it's a very well-received play, obviously.
It is. We have several, as we are choosing, trying to put the pieces together, the puzzle pieces together to choose a season, we look at the students that we have. Mm-hmm. So we have, this group of students, this cohort of students, what are their skill sets? And currently we are very heavy in females. And Little Women is a fabulous show that gives every woman in it a chance to showcase their voice, but their character. So the story of Little Women talks about the March family. So it talks about Marmee and her 4 daughters, Beth and Meg and Jo and Amy.
I know
It's
coming up
early.
with the last one is always hard, isn't it?
It is. And then we have Aunt March as well. And so each one of these characters has at least one song that is theirs. And so this is giving 20 of our students chances to rehearse and then showcase what they're learning in classrooms. I mean, our productions that we produce are experiential learning. We have classes and you practice and rehearse in classes or private lessons, but then it's putting into practice as we create a production itself. I teach a sewing class and students then sew a complete costume. They teach the theories in a lighting class, and then the students hang and focus lighting instruments. And students learn stagecraft, but then actually have to put into practice measuring a board twice to cut it once.
Yeah.
So it's the 14 steps that audience members don't necessarily see that happen in order for opening night to happen.
Is the music with a soundtrack or with an orchestra?
It's a live orchestra.
There you go.
Dr. Zach Collins, one of my colleagues in music, has been rehearsing with his student orchestra since January. And they are live on stage. So audience members will see his conducting and the students practicing their art.
That's neat. That is really neat. Tell me about the first time that you put together the live orchestra with the singers and the rest of the cast. Sometimes that can be a train wreck. Sometimes that can be just a wonderful blending of everybody coming together, somehow synchronizing.
It is creative. It is collaborative. And we, on Monday night, did not have a train wreck.
Oh, good.
There are different stages we had a Sitzprobe 2 weeks ago where the cast got to sing with the orchestra for the first time. But the orchestra was still in their rehearsal studio, and so the actors went over to sing with them. And then this past Monday night, we had both a first dress rehearsal and a first orchestra rehearsal. So all of the actors were dressed in their costumes for the very first time, and the orchestra was playing the entire score in the space for the very first time.
Telling this story as a musical has to be a fascinating thing because so many people are so familiar with the story. They read it in junior high, and they have plenty of movies that are out there that they've watched, but probably nobody has seen it as a musical unless they've made that actual effort to go see it performed live.
Right. Live theater is its own unique magic. As you are there as an audience member, experiencing the hands-on emotion of these actors becoming these characters and showing and showcasing the heart and the soul of how they are struggling through life. We as human beings have some good days and have some bad days and have situations that just appear and rearrange the way we thought we had a perfect plan. And then something happens. And so live theater is a chance for audience members to experience and watch in real time these characters live through these situations that happen.
And these characters are so richly drawn. And then you add into it the element, the costuming is a very integral part of this performance, I would assume.
It is. I have a student, Jasper Walters, who as his senior thesis project is the costume designer for this particular production. I am a director of production management, but also costume design and technology professor. And so for 4 years now, I have taught Jasper in classes and had Jasper assist me and work in the costume studio. And a year ago, I went to him and said, guess what your senior thesis project is going to be? And
he didn't say, I've already chosen it.
Well, he said, I was hoping that I could do that as my senior thesis project. So fortunately, both of us were on the same path.
Yeah.
But it has been extraordinary and wonderful. It's the joy that teachers have when they know that they have taught, or they think that they have taught as much as they can, and then the student needs to pick it up and run with it. And watching the process of the first designer meetings and the research and the pulling costumes and the choosing what we're going to build and supervising fittings with this has been astonishing and joyous to experience that. It's the proud mentor moment where the clothes fit the characters. The costumes really suit the production and suit the work, the hard work that the actors have been doing in rehearsal. So they come out and you understand that that is Marmee, and you understand that that is Mr. Lawrence, and you get that that's Joe, because the clothes that they're wearing suit who they are being.
They tell part of the story.
It tells part of the story.
Well, showtimes?
Showtimes, 7:30 on Thursday, 7:30 on Friday, 7:30 on Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday.
All right. So 3 evening shows and a Sunday matinee.
Yes.
Ticket information.
Ticket information through the Lively Arts. The Lively Arts, iup.edu/Lively Arts, I believe. But on our website, you can purchase tickets. You can call in to purchase tickets, or you can purchase tickets at the door at Waller Hall.
And it's at Waller Hall, which is a really neat venue.
It is.
Yeah.
Waller Hall is one of the older buildings on campus. Was originally built as the gymnasium for the normal school. And was then transformed approximately 40 years ago to turn it into a theater. So we created and imagined how we could produce and make live performing arts happen.
Yeah, it's just a tremendous venue to see. All right, so it's happening this weekend, starting tonight. Premiere night is tonight.
It is.
What a night, huh? I'm sure that the actors, the musicians, everybody involved is just thrilled to be bringing Little Women, the Broadway musical, right here to Indiana.
They are excited and they are ready.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Nancy Pipkin Hutchinson, thank you so much for coming in to visit with us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. 824 on your Thursday morning. Coming up in the bottom of the hour, it's Matt with another check of the news. Boomer Sports is happening in just a second or so here on Indiana in the Morning. And in our next half hour, State Representative Jim Struzzi stops by in the studio to react to yesterday's announcement about the Homer City Generating Station now becoming a natural gas-powered plant, the AI implications. It's really a tremendous story here for Indiana County. Looking forward to talking with Representative Struzzi, getting his reaction, finding out a little bit more about what went into all of this happening right here in Indiana County. Can you believe we're going to be the center of the AI world here in Indiana County? Or at least we're going to be right near the center. It's 8:25 in the morning. It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.